Hi everyone, my name is Tina Hofman and I am with you today as your teacher in Curve Classroom.
I work as an actor, performer, director, producer. I like calling myself performance maker because it puts all of my skills and my practices under one roof, and I don't need to really define myself as anyone in particular. I tend to do whatever comes to me at a given moment. So if I feel like I'd like to work on a show as an outside eye, then I tend to work as a director or a producer. Or if I feel that there is a show that needs to be performed by me, or if somebody asks me to perform in a particular piece, then I step on the stage. My main training is or was in physical theatre. So what is physical theatre? It's basically a style where you choose to use your movement, your body or your gesture as a main way of telling a story or creating a character. And from there on, this is what I'd like to introduce to you today. Physical characterization. So physical characterization, in turn, is a skill that you use in building, adding, creating to your character or your character, where you start from your physicality, from your body or your gesture. In order to do that, we can employ so many different approaches and different techniques. But what I'd like to share with you today are the basics of physical characterization, where different body parts move or push through the space. Now, this session is going to be split in two parts. Part one, what we're going to do right now, is approximately half an hour long session where we are going to do the necessary preparation. Like with any skill, it's super important to do necessary preparation to be able to take off for the second part of the session where we are going to do the very characterization. So let's go. I'm going to ask you to think about two different states in your body. So one is going to be the very floppy one, the very shaky one. You see, I'm just letting my body be thrown around. And the other one is going to be quite rigid, neutral. So when I say neutral, I mean feet not together, approximately hip width apart, pointing forwards, straight legs, upright position, not too upright, just nice and neutral, arms by your side and looking forwards. So let's start by finding a space in front of your screen, standing with your feet apart. Not like that, no, not too far apart. Not too close together either, because that's not going to give you any stability. Feet nicely apart, approximately hip width distance, feet parallel, pointing forwards, hips pointing forwards, arms by your side, nice and loose shoulders. And we're just going to jiggle the body a little bit in preparation for this neutral position. So you're just going to see me on loop a little bit, as you can see. Just jiggle your body, relax your head, and let's prepare for the work that's in front of us. So let's start by refining that neutral space, neutral stance once again. Feet hip width apart, pointing forwards, parallel with each other, hips pointing forwards, eyes looking directly at the screen, arms nice and long by your side. There is an energy in the body, ready and alert. And we'll start with the warm-up. Raise one of your arms up and start circling your finger. Just one finger, and just start exploring the space with this finger around. And now add the second finger to it. So it's your thumb and your second finger that are moving, exploring the space, just the two of them. And now add the third finger. Now, isn't it strange just isolating these three fingers out of everything else? Nothing else is moving. Soon we're going to add a fourth finger in. Now that one is a little bit more challenging, isn't it? But just those four fingers. Try extending your arm out and add the fifth finger in, little pinky. Just the fingers are moving through the space, and now add the thumb of your other hand. Just the thumb. Now just observe what kind of movement that is. Add the second finger in, thumb in the second finger of your other hand. And the first hand is moving all five fingers. Now add the third finger into your other hand. And
And now the fourth finger as well. So just start observing, what does the isolation do to your body? And now add the fifth finger in. So all 5 fingers of both of your hands are moving and exploring the space. Relax your arms and loosen up your shoulders. Let's do it again. Start with 5 fingers on each of your hands, just the fingers, arms down by your side, exploring the space, nice energetically, and we are going to add wrists. Wrists are circling around, likewise exploring the space. Now just the wrists and the fingers. Just start thinking, what does the isolation do to my body? We are going to add elbows into the movement. So from this isolation of moving just the wrists and the fingers, start moving from the elbows as well. It's quite a strange thing when you think about it, that everything else needs to stay completely still. You are moving from your elbows, your fingers and your wrists and exploring the space. How far can you go? Don't be safe. Don't ever be safe. Keep on moving. Now, very soon, we're going to start adding a shoulder for your one arm, and just start seeing a difference between movement of one and the other arm. And now add the other arm in and start exploring the space in front of you, to the side, at the back. How far can your arms go? Your shoulders, your wrists, your elbows and your fingers are moving. And now add your neck and your head in and explore the space around you, in front of you, to the side, behind. Explore the space around you and go a little bit down into your torso. Add your chest into this explorative movement. Up and down and to the side and at the back, in front of you. Keep on circling. Don't ever forget one part of the body. Fingers, wrists, elbows, head, neck, chest. And now we are going to go down into the waist. So slightly lower down into your torso. Again, keep the exploratory movement going around. Keep playful with it. Don't go into patterns. Now widen your feet a little bit and go further down into your hips. So your torso can all of a sudden get far lower towards the ground than it was before. Keep the exploratory movement going. Find the movement to the back of you, in front of you, to the side. And now go into your knees. So by bending one of your knee and then the other, you're getting even closer to the ground, but your feet are not moving. Your feet are firmly placed on the ground. Keep circling every wrist that you've got available. Keep on circling. Keep on circling. That's it. And shake it out of your body. Very good. Refinding your neutral position, arms by your side, feet parallel with each other, hip width distance, looking forward with alertness. We are going to start with head movement. So start circling the head off to one side, nice and gentle. Do not strain the neck too much. We're going to start talking about isolations in this part, which is quite an important bit for the rest of the session. Change the direction, moving the head the other side. Again, start thinking about not straining the neck too much. In talking about isolations, I'm going to place fingers of my hands on top and bottom of my neck and just start with simple yes, up and down movement of the head, and then start circling the head just so you feel where the neck strains. For example, what I'm doing now is too much of a neck strain off to one side and to the other side, and that is not what we want for this. So this is straining the neck too much. So place the fingers on top and bottom of your neck and just start feeling what is the optimal and the most economical movement that the head could make without straining the neck. Off to one side and then the other. Now imagine there is a chalk at the tip of your nose. And just try drawing a circle. Nice circle in space. Off to one side and the other. Well done. Excellent. Now let's have a little jiggle again. And refinding your neutral position. Making sure you don't run into any pieces of your furniture. So feet together, approximately hip width apart as before, parallel to each other, arms by your side, looking forwards into the camera as usual and finding that alertness in the body. Now refinding the neck, elongating the neck, imagining it as if somebody's pulling you by an invisible rope from the top of your head. And again, imagining that there is a chalk at the top of your nose, and you're starting by drawing a really nice and small circle. Very gentle, very small. Start small. You can always go bigger. Start small one way, and then making it slightly larger. Keep on going, nice and easy, and explore the isolation. Make sure you don't go into your neck, and then change the direction. Go the other side so you don't get dizzy. Start small and grow bigger. Start exploring the curves. Up and down. Left and right. Number 8. Number 8 lying down. Perhaps try writing your name. Making sure that you always stay well grounded with your feet. Excellent. Again, keep on moving the head. Keep on defining where the neck is. If you get lost, again, place your fingers at the very top and the very bottom of your neck, as you can see me doing, and just try doing little yeses. Now again, just making sure you don't go too far into extending your neck, especially when we're going into any of the 4 directions, forwards, backwards, or to the side. Have a jiggle. Have a relax. Let's re-find then our neutral position again, feet parallel to each other. I'm doing this as a mantra now, isn't it? Pointing forwards, hips pointing forwards, looking forwards, arms by your side, alertness in your body. And let's define the chest. So the chest will approximately be settled from your lower rib. Just try refining your lower rib. As you can see, I'm tickling myself. So your lower rib, or approximately from the place where your solar plexus is, and this is where your rib cage meets each other in the middle on your torso, up to about your armpit level. So this is sort of the level of the chest, as we would like to say, level of the chest. Now, if you try circling around its axis, almost imagining that there is a ball at the center of your body, you try circling your chest, only that part of your torso around this axis in your body. So again, try refining. This is your solar plexus, little sunshine from the center of your body. Again, arms by your side, and now start moving your chest forward, so almost like you're trying to peek over that solar plexus. And then to the side, imagine an invisible pole to the left or to the right, and you're almost trying to plonk your chest over that. Same with movement back. Personally, I'm finding placing my arms at top of my chest slightly easier for this movement, just for the definition or exploring the isolation. So again, we're going from the chest, moving forwards. This time I'm letting you watch from the profile just so you can see what's actually happening. To what extent is my torso moving? Front and back. Just keep on exploring. Just keep on exploring. Front movement and back movement. Side movement, off to right and off to the left. Again, keep on thinking, not going any further down than your bottom rib. Again, to the front, to the side, back, the other side, and you've made your full circle. Try making the circle the other way. You will notice that to do this movement, you need to employ a lot of abdominal work, which is great for your abdominals. And again, try circling one side and the other side, remaining only in your chest. So remember, you want to stand with your feet hip width apart, feet parallel with each other, pointing forwards. Torso nice and strong, long upper body, feeling as if somebody's pulling you by an invisible rope from top of your head. Hips are pointing forwards, chest are nice and high and open, arms by your side. Looking towards the screen, nice and alert body ready to start. We're just going to recap the movement of our head by defining where our neck is. So placing the fingers on your neck and moving easily to the right and then to the left. Nice I'll call them elegant circles. Then reminding ourselves of the chest, so from the armpits to the bottom rib and moving forward and to the side, allowing the circle to commence, moving over an imaginary ball, left and right. And now we are going to put our attention onto the waist. So the waist is situated between your hip bones, which you can most probably feel on your body, on the front of your body, the hard bony bits, and the lower rib. So this is your waist, and we're just going to start moving from the waist forwards and back. Now, word of warning, just make sure you keep your bottom really nice and tight as you move back and to the side and the other side. Keeping the bottom tight basically protects your lower back as you go into backward movement. So from the profile, we're going to move again from the waist forwards and just observe how much lower you go than when you move from the chest. And then we're going to move back by keeping bottom nice and tight in order to protect lower back. Excellent. Moving back into the circular movement, so by moving forwards, exploring the movement to the side, and then making a circle, again observing just how much bigger that circle is than when we're moving just from the chest. A couple of circles one way and then a couple of circles the other way. Really explore the extent of the movement and just how different it feels than from the chest. And giving it another jiggle. And taking a stance, neutral stance, this time slightly wider feet, parallel with each other, pointing forwards. We are going to focus on the hips. So arms by your side, nice and loose upper body, alert and ready to start. Again, a quick recap. We are going to focus on our hips, but again, start from the movement of the head, which is not going into the neck. Then recapping the movement of the chest, going from your armpits to the lower rib, giving it a quick circle left and right. So the place then where we've just been, which is the waist, moving forwards and then allowing for that circle to commence from one side and then the other, just observing how much different and bigger it is than movement with the chest. And now we are focusing on the hips. So hips allow us a really nice, big and articulate movement. And as you do this, try keeping your knees completely straight. So you're basically carrying your upper body through your hips. Now, movement of the hips forwards. You basically tuck the hips under and push them forwards. Here is the view from the profile. Tug them under and push forwards and then back. And again, forwards and back. And then again, forwards and back. Just allowing for that articulation, which is front and back at the moment. And we're going to explore the space also going to the side and the other side, which is basically the beginning of the circle. Now we can start circling with our hips. Try keeping everything else in one line, so allowing just for the hips to be making that nice, big, wide circle. Try going really wide and observe how much more space you are about to take by moving through your hips. At the same time, just keeping everything else in one line. Good work. Now give yourself a little tap on the shoulder, a little jiggle, and then I'm going to change the camera angle so you can see my knees. There are my knees. I hope yours are all right. So I'm just going to start by bending both at the same time, just defining where the knees are, give them a little warm up. And then we're going to start by bending one knee and the other one will remain straight. So strong legs, looking forwards, nice, strong, alert, neutral position as we've been doing all the time so far. And bend the right knee. Left remains completely straight. Straighten it out and then bend the other knee and just feel how your body technically collapses. However, the torso remains nice and strong. Bending one and then the other knee. Now, what happens when you bend both of the knees? Now, what I'd like you to think about is remaining really strong and upright with your torso. So this is bending one knee. Everything else remains still and is not moving. almost like you've got a plank for the body rather than your body. And this is what happens when you bend both knees. The top part of your body remains nice and straight, just like a plank. Here you go, nice and straight. You can see the length of my arm. It doesn't change. Again, nice and strong. Okay, back to the front view. Feet parallel with each other, nice and strong body. Start by bending one knee, joining with the other, then straighten the first one and re-straighten both of the knees. And this is going to allow us to start thinking about circling around through bending our knees. So keep on swapping. Bend your left and then your right, but the rest of the body doesn't move.
Now that you've got the idea of moving or isolating different body parts, we are going to imagine that each body part holds a pencil, and we're going to try to write a name.
So, chalk, pencil, whatever you like to imagine you are writing with, we are going to revisit our neutral position and our head movement by defining where the neck is, making sure we don't go over the limitations, or rather in extending or straining the neck too much. Nice, elegant circles with your head, and pencil drawing a lovely circle to the left and to the right with the tip of your nose. Now, I'm going to try writing my name in block capitals. It's Tina, it's fairly short. Spend time at doing yours. All right, we are moving on, refining our neutral position and defining our chest, imagining that there's a pencil. Well, for me, it's sticking out of the middle of my chest. So I'm again redefining where do my chest feel like my chest in my body, reimagining that ball that is in your solar plexus. I'm just redefining the circular movement of the chest and then writing my name with the chest. Try your own. So moving on with our pencil or chalk writing. So we are going to refine our neutral position. We keep on refining neutral position just for the focus. If you need to give yourself a little shake in between, go for it. So redefining where our waist line is. Tip of your hips to the lower rib and trying to imagine that ball around which your upper torso moves, left and right, just to redefine the movement. Now, this might take a little bit more work because writing your name from the waist is slightly less articulate than with your chest or definitely your nose. But just give it a go. Play around with it. There is no right or wrong. So we are going to move yet lower down, redefining the movement of our hips. So from your neutral stance, we are going to take a slightly wider stance, feet still remaining parallel with each other, pointing forward and redefining where our hips are. So moving those hips forward and back, and then to the side, and then the other side, giving them a little circle to one side and then the other side. Now, hips are, keep on moving as I'm talking, hips are for some very well articulated part of the body and for some not very well articulated part of the body. Neither is right or wrong. The point of these exercises is to remain playful. There is no success, there is no failure if you can achieve sensation of isolating a certain part of your body, then you have made it. You've succeeded. That's it. Neutral stance, nice alert body, and let's just recap the bending of the knees. Right and then left. Imagining like the rest of the body is a plank that gets carried in the direction of the bend. Now put your feet together and try recapping that same thing. Bending one knee, being joined with the other, and then straightening. And then start doing circles with a knee, one direction and then the other, just to experiment with what the mobility of our knee joints actually is. So once we've done that, we are ready to go into being really, really playful. Try finding your name with your knees. Again, imagine whether you want to do that in cursive writing, in block capitals, big or small. Be playful and explore the movement of your knees. Start with another little wiggle about, and then we're just going to re-find our neutral stance. So remember, feet too wide are not really going to work. Feet that are too much together are not really going to give you any stability. So what we want to find are feet that are hip width apart, pointing forwards, nice strong feet on the ground, good contact with the ground, hips pointing forwards, arms nice and loose and relaxed. Give it a little jump. And now we're just going to start by moving from our arms, throwing our arms about. Nice floppy movement. Shake out one of your fists. Shake it out and throw it out, almost imagining like it's a piece of cloth and you're trying to shake it out. Give it a good shake. And then the other one. Shake it out. Retain that floppiness in your wrist, in your movement. From the profile, just shake them out in front of you, left and right, exploring the energy that comes from your shoulder and registers in your fist. Explore different directions, up and down, diagonal, and try not to follow a regular pattern. If you see a regular pattern emerging, just break it. Be playful, be mischievous with it. Roll your shoulders back, making sure there is no tension in it. Excellent, and keep on shaking. Now we're just going to refine the movement of the chest, if you remember. We're just going to put a little bit more emphasis on the movement of the chest as we are following the same pattern of the movement. So the head and the chest are now going to take part in this shaking out movement. They're almost like the engines where the whole movement is situated. And you initiate the movement from the chest. Now we're going to move down further into our waist, which is not only going to give us a little bit more mobility, left, right, up, down, to the side, but it's also getting you slightly closer to the ground. And now moving in even further down into your hips. As you can remember, nice big articulate movements with the hips and the knees. Now what happens when you start bending left and then right? You can go far down towards the floor and allowing your body to collapse even further down. Just making sure you don't run into any pieces of furniture. Take a walk. Take a little walk around. Again, just making sure as you're throwing yourself about, you remain in control. Parts of your body are floppy, but you are in control.
So, this completes the warm-up part of our session, which was really, really important because we used it to bring awareness to moving different body parts in isolation. Very often when we move through space and when we move in everyday life, we are not aware of how many different body parts we employ at the very same time. So doing these isolation exercises over and over and over again makes you bring not only awareness in how much effort it takes only to isolate one part, and I am by no means perfect, but also how you can manipulate these different isolations in order to create something magical.
If you are still with me, well done. Really good work. I hope you find this class useful, and don't forget it's only the part 1 of the 2-part series for the basics of physical characterization. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, physical characterization can be done from so many different sides, and I'm here only giving you a taste, a flavour of one approach to it. So don't forget, this is part 1. Part 2 is to follow.